Hello everybody and welcome back to the Michigan Insider, michigan.247sports.com. I'm Alejandro Zuniga standing here outside the Michigan football facilities where the football team has completed and is entering week 2 of its fall camp ahead of the 2024 season. Had a chance to talk this morning with 4 of the players who we're going to be hearing their names a lot this fall. We talked to Tyler Morris and Kalel Mullings on offense, and we talked to Josiah Stewart and safety Quentin Johnson on defense. We're going to get you clips from those interviews in just a second, but want to start by talking about Tyler Morris, who we didn't talk to a whole lot last year. Obviously, he had his 1 touchdown in the Rose Bowl, but he's really going to be the leader of this wide receiver room with the departures of Cornelius Johnson, the departures, of course, of Roman Wilson. He's going to be the guy that offensive coordinator Kirk Campbell said has to step up and be a leader both on the field and off. He talked about that, but he also talked about the quarterbacks. And I know that's a topic that it's the $1 million question, right? And what we've heard, the intel that we've heard from fall camp is, as Sam Webb posted over at the Michigan Insider a couple days ago, that it seems like Alex Orji is the guy who, at least at the beginning of fall camp, has been the most impressive. Here's what Tyler Morris had to say about that.
I think he's just a lot more detailed. Definitely made a lot of great throws this fall. Yeah, I think every day it's just it's been growing for him, and he's continuing to just build and work on areas of his game that he might have struggled in before, but also keeping strong in the areas that he was good in.
One other thing that Tyler Morris brought up that we're going to have to wait to see if it actually pays dividends, if it pays off, if we see it once the football season starts, is that the offense is opening up the playbook a little bit more. Of course, we know that Michigan's identity is as a run-first team. We know that with Donovan Edwards, with Kalel Mullings, who we'll hear from in just a second, that running the ball is always going to be the identity, right? That's what Michigan is based on. However, both Tyler Morris and Quentin Johnson noted that the offense has opened up the playbook a little bit more in fall camp. Here's what he had to say about that.
I'm excited. I feel like he's kind of going to open the offense up a little more, and maybe we'll throw in some things and try some things that maybe we hadn't in the past couple of years. I think he's a great coordinator, real smart, and he's definitely going to give us multiple ways to attack defenses.
Turning our attention now to the running back room, had a chance to talk to Kalel Mullings, who is entering year 2 now as a running back, and he's a guy that Sherrone Moore said at Big Ten Media Days isn't being talked about enough. Kalel Mullings, of course, transitioned over to the offense from playing linebacker. This is his 2nd full year as a running back. Says he's lost about 8 pounds, but he still intends to be the thunder, if you will, to Donovan Edwards' lightning. As he said, Donovan Edwards, he wants to score touchdowns. He's got the blazing speed. He's the candidate to hit a home run every time he touches the ball. Kalel Mullings, on the other hand, just wants to run you over. Turning our attention now to the defense, we talked to both Josiah Stewart and Quentin Johnson. Josiah Stewart, of course, is entering his 2nd year with the Wolverines after transferring from Coastal Carolina before the 2023 season. Of course, everyone remembers that last play in the Rose Bowl where he takes an offensive lineman from Alabama, shoves him into the backfield, and forces Jalen Milroe, trips him up, sends him to the ground, and Michigan wins the Rose Bowl. But that play was the culmination of major improvements throughout the year for Josiah Stewart, who showed up a bit undersized with question marks about whether he could handle life in the Big Ten, and proved that, of course, he could. He said that hand placement, physicality are 2 of the things that he is working on most entering 2024. Here's what he had to say.
My pass rush, my move sets, setting up my pass rushes, kind of seeing it differently, especially in the run. Hand placement, taking on pullers well, shutting off blocks.
And finally, turning our attention to the secondary, a really impressive interview with Quentin Johnson, who talked candidly about the factors that went into his decision to return for the 2024 season. Quentin Johnson, of course, had indicated that the NFL was maybe going to be his next step after winning the national championship in 2023. In fact, Wink Martindale said a couple weeks ago he was surprised that Quentin Johnson chose to come back. He gave us some insight into that decision, saying a couple things. First of all, he got injured. He got injured in the Alabama game leading up to the national championship. That injury lingered and forced him to reconsider maybe what his future plans were going to be. Also, he said NIL. played a major role. He said NIL at Michigan is among the best in the country, and that made it easier for him to turn down those NFL dreams and come back to lead a defense, to be the old man in the secondary, as he joked. Here's what he had to say about his role on Michigan's defense and why he's back for year 6 with the Wolverines.
Yeah, so after the season, I was dealing with an injury, and I was kind of taking it day by day, just seeing how the injury would progress, and just weighing out my options on what made the most sense. And then at the end of the day, I had a great conversation with Coach Moore and Coach Wink about just different opportunities that will present themselves from an NFL level and a college level, and it just made the best sense to come back.
And that'll do it for today's practice report. Plenty more intel over at the Michigan Insider, michigan.247sports.com, with updates from all of our interviews and also inside intel that they're not telling us at the press conferences. That's over at michigan.247sports.com. From all of us, I'm Alejandro Zuniga. We'll see you next time.